Hey book lovers, Michael here from bestbookbits.com, and today I want to talk about a book that I read a couple of years ago called I Hope I Screw This Up by Kyle Cease. I read this book on a trip to Bali a few years ago and absolutely loved it. The subtitle of the book is How Falling in Love with Your Fears Can Change the World. If Eckhart Tolle and Jim Carrey had a baby, that baby would be called Kyle Cease. After spending 25 years on the road being a headline comedian and also in film, he was an extra on the movie with Heath Ledger, 10 Things I Hate About You. Go out and check it out. Kyle Cease threw it all away to become a transformational comedian, doing sold out shows now called Evolving Out Loud. Kyle Cease talks about happiness and fulfillment being not in some distant place in the future, but being in the present, right now, that you can access. He also talks about learning to let go of what is heavy in your life and dare to let go of the fear of screwing up. These are my best book bits that I got from the book. I hope I screw this up. I hope you like it. Let's go. Let's begin. One's calling in life is an ever-expressing calling of oneself. Most people don't say what's actually on their minds. We're always thinking something, but instead of saying what we're really thinking, which would free us and open us up to new possibilities, we instead say what we think people want to hear. How much easier would life be if we just said what we were thinking in the moment? One thing that Kyle learned is that sharing your deepest truth, no matter how scary it is actually a doorway to freedom. The only pain that you experience is when you repress that truth. Anyone who has made a true impact on this planet at one point had to step out of the expectation of people around them and listen to an inner calling that moved them into a place of originality beyond what they had done before. Most of us would actually agree that we might be scared of failure, but most of us don't know that we are actually afraid of success. I'm not my past story. In fact, I'm not any moment. I am just this moment. The only thing that separates you from any human being is your belief in your past story. Other than that, we're all the same. There's a massive illusion that happiness comes from someone or something outside of ourselves. Happiness is from within. Fall in love with not knowing. Fall in love with not knowing. Most of us are living exclusively from our head and have cut off the immense wisdom from our soul. Too much for the head, not enough for the soul. The wisdom that comes out when you're selfishly helping someone else is also the wisdom that you need to hear. The wisdom that when you speak to someone else is also the wisdom you need to hear. When you step into opportunity, you cut off fear. When you step into fear, you cut off opportunity. Your mind sees your worth only according to what you currently are, based on the evidence you have from your past instead of the potential of what you might become if you followed your calling. You can always measure what you'll lose, but you can't see what you'll gain. Listen to the calling within you instead of looking for guidance outside. Listen to the calling within you instead of listening to the outside world. It's easy to recognize an addiction to drugs, alcohol, or food, but an addiction to getting approval from the outside world is a lot tougher to see. Allowing yourself to experience every emotion that you feel is actually the gateway to transformation. Feel every emotion. When we let go of something that is taking up space in our lives, we make room for something else to come in. When your intention beats habit, you win the game of life. When your intention beats your habit, you win the game of life. When we do something different in life that's out of the norm, we actually meet with resistance from people who don't want us to change. The mind loves to come up with problems that it's created and to solve that very problem that it just created. Basically, you only care about what someone else thinks about you when you're in your head, because that's the only place an opinion exists. When you're in your heart, you're just creativity, love, and effortless expression. What people think about what you're doing doesn't even register. How lost we are in the stories of our lives and how those stories are just a lie. True happiness comes from sharing love, not from getting love. True happiness comes from sharing, not from getting love. Our happiness is not something external. If you think you need something to be happy, you make that thing your God. You are naturally happy in the absence of the belief that you need something outside of yourself to get happy. The beliefs that I'm not enough and that happiness is outside of me and I don't deserve love are actual blocks that block us from our true happiness. We can't ever allow something new to come into our lives unless we make space for it. Make space in your life for something new to come through. We very rarely connect with ourselves. We very rarely listen to what we actually want. Bob Proctor says, the less replaceable you are, the more you're worth. Nobody understands your calling but you. When you feel a calling inside yourself, you just have to do it. You can't check in with other people because they aren't feeling what you're feeling. Other people are not feeling what you're feeling. So don't check in with them with your calling because they cannot hear that call. Very often we actually keep the things that we think will get us what we want, but these things are actually blocking us from what we truly want. We're always looking for reasons in our external circumstances to prove why we shouldn't be happy. What we are is way beyond any of the boundaries that we've boxed ourselves into, and knowing this allows creative ideas and visions for the future to come in and from out of that box place. What you learn cannot be unlearned. Every moment you make a choice to either move into the illusion of yourself or move into the love that you actually are. A leap is scary, but on the other side of it is growth and new opportunities that you can't see until you take that leap. The mind's protection mechanism wants to keep you safe from the unknown, but true fulfillment will never come from the illusion of the safety of mind that the mind has created. Life is like a choose your own adventure book. Life is always going to give us options to either step into our true power or retreat into safety of our ice cube. Now, the only difference between you and anyone else in the world is the story in the head that you created for yourself. The story in your head is the only difference between you and someone else. Challenge yourself to investigate all the beliefs that your mind has created and see if there is another perspective beyond the beliefs of the mind that will lead to more freedom. You know you're in your why when the idea you have helps other people. Michael Beckwith once said, when you work for the universe, you're never unemployed. When you work for the universe, you're never unemployed. Once you start giving from a why, you won't believe how many things naturally show up that you wanted before. Alfie, when you live in your heart, sometimes people who live in their heads will not feel worthy to be around you. And that's okay, that's the universe pre-rejecting people who don't actually fit with your soul, according to Kyle Cease. From now on, start to follow the feeling, not the reason. Make the feeling the reason. The most important asset you have is the actual ability to live in a high vibration of excitement. Live in a high vibration of excitement. You're not here to get to an endpoint. Your endpoint is to be an open-ended possibility. You will never be free by only changing the external world. You will only be free if you start changing your inner world. So go out there and change your inner world. The biggest reason that you're stressed is because you're trying to change things that you can't control instead of changing the things that you can control. And last, we can control our decisions, we can control our intention, we can control who and what we surround ourselves with. But the biggest thing we can control is whether or not we accept this moment fully. And that's a wrap on the best book bits I found from the book I Hope I Screw This Up by Kyle Cease. If you like this and want to read it, you can actually borrow it from myself by going to bestbookbits.com/book club. For only 29 cents a day, you can join our global community book sharing club and read this book and hundreds more. If you want to see the full summary I've done, click the link below where you can get the video, written and audio full book summary I did about 2 years ago. If there's a book you want me to do a short summary on, let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to that channel, ring the bell, follow us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, and check out our website, bestbookbits.com, where you'll find over 500 video, written and audio book summaries. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you have an amazing day. Take care, bye-bye now, and I hope you screw this up. Boom. Boom, 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 boom.